Part 1, My Golden Child. Sister demanded my wedding venue. Hey everyone, I never imagined I'd be writing something like this, but my family has turned my wedding into a complete disaster. I need to get this off my chest because I honestly don't know whether to laugh, cry, or just walk away from all of them. For some background, my fiance and I have been planning our wedding for nearly 3 years. The venue we wanted was incredibly popular, and the waiting list was so long that we had to book it years in advance. Every detail had been planned. The flowers, the decorations, the food, the music, everything was finally coming together. We were only a few months away from our big day, and we couldn't have been more excited. Complicated. I have a younger sister who has always been treated like the golden child. Growing up, whatever she wanted, she got. If she cried, my parents rushed to fix the problem. If she threw a tantrum, everyone else was expected to give in just to keep the peace. I spent most of my childhood learning that my feelings always came second. Last week, my parents hosted a family barbecue. Everything seemed perfectly normal. Everyone was laughing, eating, and catching up. Then, right in the middle of the party, my sister stood up and proudly announced that she was pregnant. Everyone immediately started cheering. My parents hugged her. My grandmother cried happy tears. The entire afternoon instantly became about celebrating her exciting news. I was genuinely happy for Aichi. With everyone watching, she smiled and asked if I would give her my wedding venue because she thought it was beautiful and didn't have enough time to plan her own wedding before the baby arrived. The backyard went completely silent. Everyone stared at me, clearly expecting me to say yes. But I couldn't. I calmly explained that my fiancé and I had waited 3 years for this venue and our wedding was only months away. We had invested so much time, money, and emotion into planning this day. I loved her, but I wasn't giving away my wedding. The second those words left my mouth, everything exploded. My sister burst into tears. She ran inside the house her entire life. Instead of asking why she thought it was okay to demand someone else's wedding, my family immediately turned on me. My grandmother said I was being selfish. My mother looked disappointed and asked why I couldn't simply wait a few more months. After all, my sister was pregnant. It was like nobody remembered that I'd already waited 3 years just to get this venue. Thankfully, my fiancé wasn't willing to sit there and listen to it. He became visible. This conversation was ridiculous. Before things got worse, we simply left. I thought maybe everyone would calm down overnight. Instead, things somehow became even crazier. Later that evening, my sister called me, crying harder than ever. She claimed I always got everything I wanted and that I couldn't do this one thing for her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was asking me to sacrifice my entire wedding because she suddenly decided she wanted my venue. Then something unexpected happened. Her fiancé called me. He apologized for everything. Apparently, my sister had promised him she wasn't going to ask me for the venue at all. He had no idea she'd put me on the spot in front of the entire family. He sounded embarrassed and admitted he was furious with her. He even warned me that she was blaming me for problems in their relationship. According to him, none of this was my fault. She had created this mess herself. Meanwhile, my father kept texting me. His messages weren't asking how I felt. They weren't asking if I was okay, same thing. I hope you're happy. Your sister hasn't stopped crying. As if I was somehow responsible for her refusing to accept the word no. After talking everything through with my fiancé, we made a difficult decision. We removed my sister from the bridal party. Instead, we asked R, who actually defended us, to take her place. At that point, we even started discussing whether we should invite my parents at all. Then my mother crossed a line neither of us expected. Without telling us, she called my fiancé's parents. She tried convincing them that my sister deserved the venue more because she was pregnant. My future father-in-law didn't hesitate. He told my mother exactly how ridiculous her request was and warned that if they kept treating me this way, they were going to lose their daughter forever. For the first time in my life, someone actually stood up for me. Apparently, my mother cried after that phone call and complained that my future father-in-law had been rude. Honestly, I couldn't even feel sorry for her anymore. Everything felt like a bad soap opera. That evening, my future in-laws drove to our house with dinner and a bottle of wine. They sat with us for hours and promised that no matter what happened with my family, we'd never be alone. For the first time since this nightmare began, I finally felt like I had a family that truly cared about me, my golden child. Sister tried to steal my wedding. After everything that happened, I hoped my sister would finally realize how unreasonable she had been. Instead, she doubled down. A few days later, I received an incredibly long text message from her. She said I was selfish, that family should always come first, and that because she asked nicely, I should simply hand over my wedding venue. According to her, I was destroying our relationship over a building. I stared at my phone for several minutes before finally deciding I was done staying quiet. For years, I had kept my feelings bottled up just to avoid conflict. Not anymore. I reminded her of every time I'd sacrificed my own happiness to make her feel better. I reminded her how I was forced to share birthdays because she couldn't stand not being the center of attention. I reminded her that I filled out job applications for her because she was too lazy to write her own resume. And I reminded her of my college graduation, the day she made my celebration about herself by demanding expensive clothes, insisting on being in every photo, and even throwing a fit because everyone was congratulating me instead of her. And I'd never had the courage to say before. I've spent years giving in to you. That ends today. If you want a wedding before your baby arrives, then find another venue. I'm not giving you mine. Her only response was one word. Wow. Then she blocked me. I figured that was the end of it. I was wrong. The very next morning, I received a shocking message from my wedding planner. She said my mother had contacted her and asked to transfer my wedding venue into my sister's name. The planner wanted me to come to her office to sign the paperwork. My heart nearly stopped. Someone had actually tried to steal my wedding. I immediately called the planner, and thankfully, she was horrified. She assured me that no changes could ever be made without me physically signing the paperwork. She apologized for the confusion and even contacted the venue staff to make sure everyone knew nobody except me could authorize changes. We also hired security for the wedding, just in case my family tried something else. As if that wasn't enough, my niece, she filled Facebook with passive-aggressive posts claiming I'd ruined her life and caused her depression. Soon I was receiving hateful messages from people who only knew her side of the story. I blocked every account. Then one of her friends vandalized my car by throwing eggs at it. Luckily, my elderly neighbor witnessed everything and identified them for the police. At that point, I realized this wasn't normal family drama anymore. It had become harassment. A few days later, my parents asked if we could sit down and tea. I agreed. For about 10 minutes, I actually believed they wanted to fix things. Then they started arguing that I should still give my sister the venue. My father insisted that the location didn't matter, only the person I was marrying. That's when I looked him in the eye and said, if the venue doesn't matter, then why doesn't my sister choose another one? The room became completely silent. For the first time, nobody had an answer. I finally pulled out a list I'd written on my phone. It contained years of memories, every sister over me. The list was painfully long. As I read each example aloud, my parents sat there speechless. When I finished, I gave them one final choice. Either we attend family counseling together and they sincerely apologize, or they would not be invited to my wedding. They left without saying another word.